Three-row crossover SUVs are all about family, and when it comes to family matters, there ain't no rivalry like a sibling rivalry. That's why I'm pitting the two best models in the segment, the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade, head-to-head. Despite being under-the-skin twins, these Korean SUVs actually look and feel different. I've put a ton of miles on both, and I think one is better than the other. So let's talk looks, performance, interior, tech, safety, pricing, and maybe even a wild card. Then I'll pick a winner, and it might just surprise you. And while I don't normally suggest splurging on top trims, that's exactly what I'm doing here, because if you can afford it, both the Telluride SX and the Palisade Limited are legit alternatives to luxury vehicles from premium brands with much smarter pricing and easier to use tech. The Telluride is ruggedly handsome in a straightforward way. In fact, I've heard more than one bystander confuse it for a Land Rover with its billboard lettering across the hood and bluff good looks. Its profile is clean, and overall the Kia looks upright enough that it could be confused for a body-on-frame SUV, not a unibody crossover. That's not a slam, that's actually seriously flattering. Kia definitely got this one right. Then there's the Hyundai Palisade with its imposing six-sided grille and unusual crocodile eye split-element headlamps. It looks aggressive, expensive, and more modern than the Kia. It's almost avant-garde. Not everybody I've talked to likes this design though, and it's not clear how well the chrome-heavy look is going to age. However, I do appreciate its boldness, and the more time I spend with it, the better I think the Palisade looks. With this type of vehicle though, automakers are looking for broad appeal and big sales, so advantage, Kia. Let's take a look at those specs. These SUVs ride on the same platform, are available with either front or all-wheel drive, and they're both powered by the same 3.8-liter engine, a smooth-running V6 that delivers 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. They both deliver those figures at the same engine RPM, and they're even bolted to the same 8-speed automatic. Dead heat, right? Well, hang on. Yes, their performance is very similar, but there are differences in terms of fuel efficiency and feel. Front-wheel drive Tellurides get an EPA estimated 20 miles per gallon city, 26 highway, and 23 combined. All-wheel drive models ring up at 19 city, 24 highway, and 21 combined. Front-drive Hyundai Palisades do a smidge worse at 19 miles per gallon city, 26 highway, and 22 combined, but weirdly, all-wheel drive models are rated exactly the same as the Kia. As always, your mileage may and will vary, so in my book, these numbers are definitely tight enough to be a wash. Obviously, there's not much daylight between these two by the numbers. Subjectively, however, what I can tell you is that the Kia seems quieter inside, whether it's due to more sound deadening, different tires, or better aerodynamics. However, I can also tell you that the Hyundai's transmission calibration seems to be a bit smarter and smoother. The Palisade also has a modestly firmer ride that works out to slightly better handling without being anywhere near uncomfortable. The latter gets standard auto-leveling rear suspension on the Limited, while in the Kia you have to opt for the tow package, which isn't something everybody's going to want. Overall, I'm going to call this one a draw. It may feel like we're getting nowhere fast, but that is about to change. Let's head inside. At Roadshow, we're particularly big on smart cabin tech, and it's here where some of the most significant differences are. Especially in SX trim, the Kia comes with a boatload of features, including heated and cooled first and second row leather seats, and an easy-to-use 10.25-inch infotainment system with snappy responses and intuitive menus. Plus, the audio system features 10 speakers, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Other features include dual moonroofs, a passenger intercom, and so on. With the Telluride, you basically want for nothing until you realize that the Palisade offers all that and more. And it's not just the little stuff, like the fact that its audio system has 2 more speakers, totaling an even dozen. Top-shelf Palisades like this Limited come with a reconfigurable fully digital gauge cluster measuring 12.3 inches. That's nice on its own, but it's taken up several notches by Blind View Monitor, which pipes in the video feeds from the side cameras into the gauge cluster when you flick on a turn signal. That way nothing hides in your blind spot. It is brilliant. The Telluride, meanwhile, is available with a smaller 7-inch screen clustered in between normal analog gauges. It'll still show you what's in your blind spot, only smaller and not as nicely. Additionally, the Hyundai gets a push-button shifter. Now, I'm not generally crazy about these things, as regular gear levers are easier to use. But in this case, the Hyundai's is straightforward enough, and the upside is a bunch of additional storage space. Oh, and speaking of smarter access to storage, there's a power folding third row seat in the Palisade. Kia doesn't even offer one of those. As far as space goes otherwise, with the same footprint, it's no surprise that these two SUVs are essentially equally accommodating in all three rows and in terms of cargo capacity. So if you add in the Palisade's superior tech and its more liberal use of higher quality plastics, well, this Hyundai, it walks the category. When it comes to family vehicles like these three rows, safety is paramount. Now, I'm happy to say that I haven't crash tested these vehicles personally, but I do know who has. The federal government and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. With the same basic chassis and tech in play, you'd expect identical results. And indeed, the Kia and the Hyundai earn 5-star overall ratings from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. But if you dig a little deeper, one vehicle does perform better. Both ace the Fed's overall side star rating, receiving 5 stars in side barrier and pole crash tests. Both also get the same rollover resistance score, 4 out of 5 stars, which is good for an SUV. But when it comes to the all-important frontal crash test rating, the Telluride gets 4 stars for driver and front seat passenger, while the Palisade nets a perfect 5 stars. Oh, and in case you're wondering, the even tougher IIHS tests give the Hyundai the nod as well, but for different reasons. The Palisade gets the Institute's highest award, Top Safety Pick Plus, while the Telluride falls slightly short because the halogen headlights that come on all but the top SX trim rate as poor. As for avoiding a crash in the first place, both SUVs have tons of advanced driver assist technologies, including forward collision warning with automatic emergency braking and lane departure warning as standard. Plus, intelligent cruise control with lane centering and traffic sign recognition is available, but it's the Hyundai with the better blind spot monitor. Yep, when it comes to safety, chalk up another win for the Hyundai. We can't ignore the cost of entry for these SUVs, so let's take a closer look. A base front-drive Kia Telluride LX starts a hair under 32 grand plus destination, not unlike the entry-level Palisade SE. As I said, I don't often recommend vehicles in their priciest models, but since these two are such good value in their top trims, that's where I'd go if you can afford it. On the high end, the Telluride SX commands just under $42,000 before options and freight. Conversely, the Palisade Limited starts right around $45,000 before destination. Thing is, in order to match the Hyundai standard equipment on the Limited, you've got to splurge for the Kia's SX Prestige package, which is more than $2 grand extra. Add in the tow pack to get the auto-level rear suspension to match specs, and you're basically looking at even money between these two models. See, I told you these things were close. One last thing. I've got to throw in another factor into the mix, and it's a bit of a wild card. Country of origin. The Telluride is assembled in West Point, Georgia. The Hyundai, Ulsan, South Korea. How important is where these things are screwed together? Well, that I leave up to you. Looks like it's judgment time. Prior to COVID-19 cratering American car sales, 3-row SUVs were so hot people were having kids just as an excuse to buy one. It's true. After driving these two, it's easy to see why. I've dissected the Telluride and the Palisade by comparing their looks, performance, interior, tech, safety, and pricing. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us splitting hairs between two class-leading SUVs. I still think I prefer the way the Kia looks, but for me, family-minded vehicles like this are about comfort, convenience, and safety. By that criteria, the Hyundai's nicer cabin, smarter tech, and better safety scores clinch it for me. The Hyundai Palisade wins this one by its shiny chrome nose. So, what do you think? Are we of like minds, or am I just nuts? Let me know which of these SUVs is your favorite in the comments, and while you're at it, please like and subscribe to the Roadshow channel and hit the bell to get the newest videos from us the second they hit the YouTubes. Oh, and don't forget to drop us a line and let us know which two vehicles you'd like to see us put head-to-head next.